Hello, this is part 5 of To Be a Person, to Have a Name. Honestly, a lot of this was supposed to be in part 4, but things decided to glitch out, so it wouldn't let me continue. But, again, this is part 5. I'm Cryo, and I hope you enjoy To Be a Person, to Have a Name by Kirabasai. Yumiko has no idea how to get Sebek to like her, which is a shame, because he's going to be right outside her dorm every evening for 7 days. Prime harassment opportunity, if she were to speak like Lilia. Speaking of Lilia, oh, you've made the interior so cute! Lilia coos, patting her head. Grim is dozing off on the couch. The outside exhibit is really impressive as well, Lilia-senpai. Yumiko replies, unconsciously leaning into the touch. Shortly, after the first day of Halloween week had come to a close, the Fae had quickly decided to visit her inside the dorm. To her delight. Your little wizard's cloak as well, Lilia crows, completely ignoring the compliment to Diasomnia's exhibit. Why, it's adorable. I can only imagine what you looked like all dressed up for Halloween as a child. Yumiko flushes, somewhat embarrassed. She doesn't understand what the big deal about her costume is. She's about to compliment Lilia's in turn, as it truly is impressive, but... Oh, it's such a shame your ears aren't pierced. We could have put the cutest pair of earrings on to match this, he sighs. Piercings, huh? It's okay, Lilia-senpai, Yumiko reassures. Should we take a picture? Oh, yes! Allow me to take a picture of you for posterity, Lilia exclaims, whipping out his phone. Yumiko had meant a picture together, but she supposes this is okay as well. I will, regrettably, be tied up in Halloween committee duties throughout the week, so you may not see much of me, Lilia informs her once he's happy with the pictures he's taken. I understand, she nods. Lilia pats her head. Yumiko figures she may not have many other opportunities to ask something and decides to bite the bullet. By the way, how could I get Sebek-san to be friends with me? Lilia blinks at the question, something curious entering his face. He hums in consideration. You would need to be incredibly stubborn, the third year finally says. I believe you'll do fine as you are. The advice is somehow both helpful and unhelpful. Yumiko decides, slowly acclimating the fellow first year to her presence is the first hurdle she needs to overcome. Thus, she starts greeting Sebek every time she sees him the next day. Grim thinks she's crazy for this. Later, Yumiko observes Sebek restock Diasomia's break station around the back of Ramshackle. He does not look very happy about the audience of one. Wow, you must be super capable if they're trusting you to set everything up back here by yourself. Yumiko tries to compliment. I heard you're training to be Malleus Draconia's bodyguard, though, so maybe that's just to be expected. Sebek noticeably seems to puff up at the praise. He goes on to espouse Yumiko of his lord's many virtues, and some of the training he does in order to be worthy of his position, until he finally finishes stocking the break station. They don't interact much later outside Yumiko greeting Sebek, but she counts that as a win. Day 3 of Halloween week is sadly less peaceful, and does not leave much time to talk to Sebek. Yumiko is also now greatly feeling the consequences of the lack of working lock for the front door, and somewhat wishing Grim was here with her instead of hanging around Deuce to see as much of the event as possible. On the bright side, however, the old, blunt fire poke is a great improvised weapon. As Yumiko watches the intruder rush out the front door, she's somewhat grateful too much of a racket wasn't made. At the very least, it shouldn't have disturbed the main exhibit. On the other hand, the lack of noise most definitely means nobody is aware of what happened, and this is probably something she should tell somebody about. Lilia isn't around right now. Yumiko hums in consideration. There are only 3 other Diasomnia students she knows. Sunetaro, who she has not seen at all this past week, Sebek, who she was nowhere near befriending, Silver, who has the closest connection to Lilia she knows of and is not yet been unfriendly towards her. Silver it is. Yumiko exits Ramshackle, dreading the task of having to find the upperclassman, only to almost immediately bump into him. Silver-senpai, she exclaims, I was just looking for you. Hello, Prefect. Silver blinks down at her somewhat disheveled appearance. Is that a fire poke? He asks. Yumiko realizes she never put her improvised weapon away, to her embarrassment. That's kind of why I was looking for you, Yumiko sheepishly admits, scratching her head. I was just reading inside Ramshackle when this guy burst in, out of nowhere. He had zero respect for the place. I kind of panicked and used the fire poke as an improvised weapon to beat him out. We actually just received a complaint from one guest about another guest beating him out with a metal rod around here, Silver tells her. I'll make sure to note what truly happened when I return. May I see the fire poke? Yumiko hesitates a moment before relinquishing it to him. Silver feels the old tool alongside some experimental swings. He hums in consideration as he returns it to her. Hold on to that for now. Day 3 is about to end, so there shouldn't be more intruders, but we cannot guarantee the same for Day 4, Silver seriously tells her. This should function quite well as an improvised weapon, should the need arise to defend yourself. I will try to keep a closer eye on this area tomorrow regardless. I'm not in trouble then? Yumiko clarifies, relief loosening the tension in her shoulders. Silver shakes his head. You did good, he reassures. I'm sure my father would tell you the same. Yumiko recalls how Lilia said there was nothing bad in her trying to figure out how rune magic worked when she's surrounded by mages, and silently agrees. All right, she nods. I'll be careful. Day 4 managed to be significantly worse, even with Grim and the Ghost deciding to stay with her inside Ramshackle. With each break-in, Yumiko could feel her patience thinning even further, reaching levels of annoyance and anger she never knew she was capable of. Intruder number 8 was the most unfortunate, having the experience of being yelled at while a monster blows fire at him, alongside being struck in a very unfortunate place. He was also quite literally kicked out of the door. Silver made the executive decision to stay by Ramshackle's front door instead of frequently checking on it after that. Sebek eventually joined in. Even with Silver and Sebek keeping a close eye on the area, though for different reasons, from what Yumiko could tell, some guests still slip in. She's starting to get into the habit of camping by the front door, immediately beating out anyone that enters the foyer. Sadly, this is not as effective for groups. At one point, by the day's end, people stop breaking in after thunder sounds. Probably Malleus. This isn't much solace, however, because Yumiko is still seething from the whole ordeal. Even Grim doesn't want to get close to her, having decided to retreat to their bedroom. She remains brooding, shaking with foreign anger in the foyer with the fire poke in hand, just in case. And after a long day of people barging in, Yumiko startles at the sound of knocking on the door. She grips the fire poke tighter, cautiously opening the door. She must look like a mess to Lilia, but he still smiles when he sees her. Silver is next to him. May we come in? Lilia asks. Yumiko blinks, but nods, opening the door further to let the two in. She can feel her racing heart slow down. Let's move to the living room, Lilia hums, placing a hand on her shoulder to guide her. Yumiko lets him. Silver's disappearing somewhere. Her limbs feel shaky now that the adrenaline has worn off. Suddenly, there's a mug of hot cocoa in her hands. Where did that come from? Yumiko takes slow sips, letting the warmth relax her body. Slowly, awareness returns to her. She recognizes the plush feeling of the couch in Lilia's voice. He's humming that song she likes from Briar Valley, her favorite. The fire poke is no longer in her hands. Yumiko stares at the hot chocolate in front of her and takes a long, shuddering breath, tension slowly easing from her shoulders. There's a hand on her back. "Lilia-senpai?" Yumiko asks, voice somewhat unstable. "There you are," Lilia hums, patting her head. She slowly blinks at him. "Silver here told me you were having a rough time." "Silver?" Yumiko turns to the side, and there Silver is. He isn't sitting as closely as Lilia, though. "I've never been that angry before. I didn't like it," Yumiko says as she turns to look back at her hot chocolate. She takes another sip. "Few people do. Your anger was quite justified, however. Those guests were hardly nice," Lilia responds. "They weren't." Yumiko agrees, voice thick. "Are you injured anywhere?" Lilia asks. "Don't know," she admits. Yumiko suspects she mentally clocked out at some point. "Well, I believe the adrenaline has run off by now. Does it hurt anywhere?" He rephrases. Yumiko pauses to consider. "No," she shakes her head. Lilia pats her. "You did good defending yourself, Yu-kun," Lilia sincerely says. Her tongue feels heavy. "Today sucked," Yumiko chokes out, a foreign emotion gripping her throat. Silver gently takes the mug of hot chocolate out of her hands, placing it on the table. "Indeed it did," Lilia agrees, petting her hair. "I hated it," her voice cracked. "They just kept coming. They didn't listen." There," the Fae soothes, pressing her head into his chest. Yumiko grips onto his shoulders, unconsciously seeking purchase. "It's okay now. Let it out." Yumiko breaks. The 5th day of Halloween week is much the same, although at some point, Silver ends up stationing Sebek right at the front door. "Your grip on that fire poke is absolutely abysmal," Sebek sniffs at Yumiko after they run off a group of 3. Were it a blade, it would accomplish nothing in a clash. Yumiko assumes a clash is referring to when 2 swords strike each other. "Oi, don't talk to my henchman like that," Grim exclaims, the blue flames in his ears flaring outward. "Silence, cat. I can talk to this human however I like," Sebek hisses back. "It's absolutely reprehensible that an associate of Lilia-sama cannot properly wield a weapon, a stain on his honor." "I ain't a cat," Grim hisses in turn, scrambling onto Yumiko's shoulder so he can argue with Sebek on a more equal level. Yumiko supposes around now is a good time to cut in before things escalate. "Grim, if you fight Sebek-san here, you will not be getting any tuna cans tomorrow." Grim yelps, giving Yumiko an almost betrayed look. "Sebek-san, can you show me a more proper grip? I'm sure you're quite knowledgeable on the topic, if Lilia-senpai has been teaching you for so long." Sebek blinks at her. Slowly, his expression of discontent morphs into a smug smile. "I see you've recognized my inherent superiority. Seeing as you also hold Lilia-sama in high esteem, I will comply with your request just this once," Sebek says, as though fixing Yumiko's grip on a fire poke is the highest privilege she could receive. Thinking about it, Sebek seems the slightest bit similar to how Grim was when Yumiko met him at the start of the semester. The main difference is their composure. "I appreciate it, Sebek-san." Yumiko nods toward him. Grim hops off her shoulder, not wanting to be anywhere near the half-fae, while he corrects Yumiko's grip. Yumiko hopes the two can get along better soon. Once the 5th day of Halloween week closes, Silver shares a thermos of hot chocolate with Yumiko. No words are exchanged, but it soothes her mood all the same. "So, we're scaring them instead of fighting them," Yumiko clarifies the following day, watching as Lilia explores every nook and cranny within Ramshackle. Grim is also curious, but deemed his meal far more important. My father is quite experienced in this field, Silver says from next to her. I believe one stunt he pulled on Halloween still haunts Sebek's nightmares. Yumiko is quite grateful Sebek isn't in the room with them. Do I have to do anything? Yumiko asks. Ramshackle is her dorm, after all. I'm not doing anything no more, Grim grouses. I'm tired of dealing with all those people. You don't have to if you don't want to, Lilia reassures, seemingly done with his task. Yumiko thinks it might be fun. I'll help. I'm the dorm's prefect, after all, she decides. And then, maybe we can make use of the ritual scars on my stomach, Yumiko muses, adding on to her previous statement. 2 pairs of eyes stare at her. As for the third, oh yes, I believe that could be incorporated. Perhaps we could even use some makeup to make it look more recent, Lilia hums. Yumiko has never had more fun in her life pretending to be a victim of a ritual. Lilia seems to have had a blast as well. Interestingly enough, during the Halloween feast, Sebek pulls Yumiko aside and tells her he supposes she isn't as weak as other humans if she could stomach Lilia's Halloween methods for 2 nights. The girl isn't really sure what Lilia's ways of scaring off Magicam monsters has to do with strength, but takes it as a compliment and sign that Sebek is warming up to her. Yumiko's dream space remains just as maddeningly empty going on to into November. She's recently taken to drawing alchemical symbols and compounds. It's a shame she does not have any of her books here, but at least she can improve her memory. Her new routine is broken by a surge of foreign magic, not ambient magic, briefly overwhelming her senses, accompanied by a bright flash. Yumiko blinks stars out of her eyes, trying to figure out what's happened when... Silver Senpai! She exclaims, speaking out loud in her dream space for the first time since her arrival at Night Raven College. Oh, it's you, Prefect. Hello. Silver politely greets. It seems I was able to travel here, so this is indeed a dream, he notes, looking around at the dark void. How are you here? Yumiko asks, very much confused. In short, my unique magic allows me to travel to other people's dreams, so long as I am lucid. Unfortunately, I cannot control whose dreams I enter, so coming here was a bit of trial and error. Silver explains, looking back at Yumiko. You've said you've experienced this dream every night since arriving at the college, correct? Have you experienced any mental fatigue? That's cool, unique magic, Senpai. And no, I haven't, she answers. I'm not sure if I simply haven't reached my limit, or if the space simply has no effect on my mental energy. That's interesting. Does the space have borders? Yes, it's somewhat small, perhaps around the size of my bedroom in Ramshackle or smaller. I haven't been able to get an accurate measure because of the lack of reference points, Yumiko elaborates. Always the same size? As far as I know. How unusually consistent for a dream, Silver muses. And you can't manipulate it at all, despite clearly being conscious? Do you have any theories? She asks. Silver hums. It could be that you had such tight control of your mind that you constantly formed the space whenever you were lucid in your sleep, so much so that your subconscious started to form it without you doing anything. Silver theorizes. Muscle memory, in a sense. I have suspected that my subconscious retains at least some of my past knowledge based on feelings of deja vu. Yumiko hums, placing a hand over her chin. The incompleteness, though, Could it be that this is simply the foundation or bones of something else? That is a possibility. For most people, natural energy doesn't interact with their dream space, but you mentioned before that ambient magical energy has changed this place. That's correct. Are you suggesting that magical energy made up the space's form? But since I no longer have any, it's stuck like this? It's a possibility. We can't know for sure. Silver answers. It's almost morning, Silver-senpai. Yumiko apologetically cuts him off. Perhaps we can continue this conversation next time you manage to come here. So you are aware of outside time. I see. Silver blinks at her. There is the possibility I may not remember this dream, so be sure to check with me the next time you see me. More so that I'm acutely aware of my body's biological clock, Yumiko clarifies. I'll see you around, Silver-senpai. I'll take my leave then. Have a good day, Prefect. Silver tells her, meet in a dream. With another bright flash, Silver disappears, leaving Yumiko alone. She sits down. 4 minutes later, Yumiko wakes up in ramshackle. Lunch has, generally, always been peaceful. Been a bit energetic, sure, but peaceful. Most days, Yumiko's table consists of Ace, Deuce, Grim, and herself, but occasionally, other people she knows drop by. Never have one of them deliberately brought or invited somebody else to the table. Until now, that is. Who's that? Deuce warily asks, eyeing the unfriendly student sitting next to her. Ace is scrutinizing the newcomer as well. Henchman's gone crazy, Grim mutters into his sandwich. Right. Ace, Deuce, this is Sebek Zigvold. He's in Class 1E. Sebek-san, this is Ace Trapala and Deuce Spade. They're in 1A with me. I'm trying to become friends with Sebek-san here, so please get along. Yumiko presents. Ace scrutinizes Sebek further as the half-face scowls. Deuce suspiciously eyes him, but decides to go along for now. Nice to meet you, Zigvold-san. Deuce politely nods. I hope we can get along. Sebek scowls even deeper. Hey, you sure you want to be friends with somebody like that? Ace asks, having no regard for Sebek's presence. Yumiko nods, because she knows Sebek likely. Insolent human, Sebek hisses at Ace. I'm only gracing you lot with my presence at Lilia-sama's behest. You should be grateful. Oh, so you were scared of disappointing your Lilia-sama, huh? What is he, your mom? Can't think for yourself, so you just follow along? Ace taunts. Ace! Deuce hisses, urging his friend to stop. Yumiko knows it's a lost cause. Ace has that gleam in his eyes where he's discovered something interesting and wants to push as many buttons as possible. Sebek, unfortunately, is something interesting. She sighs. You! How dare you insult Lilia-sama! And human! That was louder than necessary. I'm so sorry. Sebek snaps, turning to Yumiko. How could you not defend Lilia-sama's honor when he is absent? Sebek-san, Ace is just trying to get a rise out of you, she sighs. It's his way of feeling you out, if you're good enough to hang out with us. Worthy, Sebek exclaims. I am superior to all of you here. Who are you to judge me worthy? I can do as I please, he indignantly declares. As it turns out, Sebek was very much serious when he said that, because from that day forward, the half-fae started to frequently join them for lunch, without Yumiko having to do a thing, to prove his point. Yumiko likes to think she is on track to befriend Sebek. The next time Silver appears in Yumiko's dream space, it becomes quite clear they won't figure anything out further with their limited knowledge. For some reason, Silver continues visiting the space regardless. It's nice having someone to hang out with. Sometimes, when Yumiko needs a break from her studies or research, she plays Bowser Kart in Lilia's bedroom. She actually is pretty good now. Lilia is just in a completely different league. Are you confident for final exams? Lilia asks her at one point, to which Yumiko shrugs. I generally remember most things I read, so I'm not very worried, to be honest. The concept doesn't sound very familiar, though, so I don't think I've had them before, she admits. Oh, that gift is quite fortunate for a student, Lilia hums. To be unfamiliar with the concept of final exams entirely, though. Do you believe you were homeschooled? Homeschool? Maybe? Yumiko shrugs. It doesn't sound quite right, though. Perhaps not, then, Lilia muses. You're quite a bright child, regardless. I'm certain that you'll do well. Can we touch up my hair color after finals? Yumiko asks. It's been about a month since her hair was done by Lilia, and the once vibrant blue has been slowly fading into a softer, more muted color. She doesn't hate it, but hanging out with Lilia the last time they did her hair was fun. After finals, Lilia hums, considering. Perhaps closer to the start of winter break. That way, you won't need to worry if it will last the entire time. Oh, smart thinking, Lilia-senpai. Okay, sorry. She compliments, quickly shoving aside the mental reminder that she still doesn't know what her winter break situation will be. Lilia chuckles, patting her head. Don't focus on only the present. It's good to consider the future as well. The future, huh? It comes to her later. A master. She was somebody's apprentice. Yumiko lays down on non-existent ground, mentally reviewing properties from an encyclopedia of potion ingredients, 189th edition, for her potions final with Kroll the next day. It isn't the first year's official textbook, but it contains all of the ingredients in that textbook and more. She prefers this book over the textbook. Her mental review is interrupted by a bright flash that's slowly becoming more familiar. Hi, Silver-senpai, Yumiko calls out, sitting up to face the second-year Diasomnia student. Said student inclines his head. Hello, you-san, he greets. I suppose you're taking advantage of the dream space to mentally study? Yep, Yumiko hums. I was just reviewing the properties of lead according to the most recent edition of an ingredient encyclopedia. That isn't a first-year ingredient, Silver comments, blinking down at her. She shrugs. Some of the ingredients limited to the upperclassmen have similar uses or properties to the first-year ones, depending on how you view it, she justifies. It also goes into a bit more detail in regards to the ingredients first years are limited to. Have you done anything other than studying here? Silver wonders aloud. Talking to me doesn't count, he adds as Yumiko opens her mouth. She quickly closes it. No, she reluctantly admits. Silver sighs and mutters something. Okay, get up, he orders, motioning to Yumiko to come forward. We're doing something. Shouldn't I at least finish my review? Yumiko half-heartedly protests as she gets up. And there isn't exactly anything to do here. Father told me you're likely on track to be within the top 50 of your class. You will be fine not finishing your review. Silver answers matter-of-factly. The tips of her ears burn with slight embarrassment. Lilia-senpai said that about me? Wait, you two talk about me? Yumiko quickly realizes. Silver doesn't answer, removing his mage-stone pen from its holster. There is nothing the space provides for activity. Yes, but we still retain our tools and garments, Silver answers, completely ignoring her. Wait, are you going to cast magic? Yumiko blinks in befuddlement. Is this an experiment? We can experiment another time. Right now, your brain deserves a break, Silver says, holding the pen upside down. With a flick, it extends to the baton Yumiko has seen in action a few times. What bothers her is the lack of elaboration on why the baton is out. What is the baton for? She hesitantly asks. Silver moves a bit closer to her. Before she can react, the handle has been pressed into the grip of her right hand. She blinks up at Silver. I thought you may have a talent for swordsmanship after seeing how you improvised the fire poke during Halloween week, Silver states in lieu of an explanation. Additionally, your curiosity seems to override anything else from what I know of you. Wait. You're showing me how to use a sword? Yumiko clarifies, thoughts racing with the subject matter. Yes, the most important thing when using a sword, before anything else, is maintaining balance. Yumiko is observing Silver as he demonstrates a basic strike when she feels ambient magical energy seeping into the space. She blinks, turning her focus away from Silver's showcase. Do you feel that? Yumiko asks. He blinks, pausing mid-action. Feel what? Silver asks, to Yumiko's confusion. Ambient magical energy is entering the dream space. Do you really not feel it? She clarifies, hoping Silver does feel it. He goes silent for a few moments, seemingly trying to focus, before shaking his head. It may only be you can sense its presence, as the dream space belongs to you. This isn't the first time natural energy has entered the space, no? Silver clarifies. It's happened before, yeah. Yumiko nods. Typically, it changes the space into moments of past, present, future, or a mixture of the three. Nobody should see or react to us, and nothing about the environment affects us. The energy gradually clumps together, forming into something not yet perceivable. How long does it take for the dream space to be Silver begins to ask, only to be cut off by an imaginary wave crashing over him. He remains dry. Huh. How long it takes varies, Yumiko tells him, observing the scene. They are on a turbulent sea, a nearby boat rocking unsteadily in the midst of a torrential storm. It seems to slowly be easing up, however. Prince Eric! A man exclaims as he throws a buoy to another one, presumably Eric, inexplicably stuck on a rocky outcrop. A girl with a beautiful voice helped me, Eric insists as he is brought back aboard. Between one blink and the next, the skies have almost cleared up. The boat is slowly sailing away, while a mermaid observes from the same rocky outcrop. I wonder why my heart is racing, the mermaid murmurs, eyes wide with wonder as she watches the ship sail away. But I know my dream will come true, and I'll someday be a part of your world, she declares. It's with those words the ambient magic abruptly disperses, and Yumiko wakes up in her bed at Ramshackle. The first thing Yumiko does after her last final exam is find a nice nook in the library. Grim quickly ditches her, wanting to do something fun rather than immediately go back to studying, but Yumiko doesn't mind. She has a small collection of books assembled. Conduits for magic, interacting with natural energy, what are magical structures, relations between magic and natural energy, the composition of dreams, a comprehensive breakdown on the origins and purpose of incantations, and an introduction to silent spellcasting. Ace would probably argue that the lengths of some of the books she's gathered disqualifies them as from being a small collection, but she doesn't quite care. By the time the sun sets, Yumiko has finished 3 of the books: The Composition of Dreams, What Are Magical Structures, and the relations between magic and natural energy. She is in the middle of reading Interacting with Natural Energy when she receives an unexpected visitor to her nook. Good evening, Yusan, Silver greets as he sits across from her. I thought I might find you somewhere inside the library. Hi, Silver-senpai, Yumiko responds, blinking up from her book. She carefully bookmarks her place. What brings you here? Since we have just finished our final semester exams, and tomorrow is a weekend, Father decided we should go to the town below the school for that day. Do you have any plans? Silver asks her. She hasn't been to the town below before. Excitement briefly rises in her chest. Nope, no plans. Who else is coming? Yumiko responds, slightly tilting her head. It would just be me, you, and Father, Silver clarifies. Yumiko blinks. The three of them? Would I not be imposing? Yumiko hesitantly asks. I mean, I wouldn't want to intrude on you two's personal family time. Silver shakes his head. Father wanted to invite you, and I have no issues with you joining us, he reassures. Yumiko is silent for a moment. Why would they go out of their way to invite her? Regardless, Yumiko knows her answer. All right, I'll come with, she decides. When and where should I meet you guys? The shuttle bus we will be taking down leaves at 9 o'clock in the morning. Silver tells her, Do you know where the front gates are? That's where we'll be meeting, since it doubles as the bus stop. That sounds reasonable, Yumiko nods. Silver nods back. Have a good rest of your night, Yusan. Silver tells her as he rises from his seat. He eyes the books currently resting on the table. Don't forget to eat dinner, he adds. I won't, Silver-senpai. Have a good night as well. Yumiko responds with a wry grin. Silver nods at her, and then he's gone. Yumiko returns to her books, deciding she will finish her current one before calling it a night at the library. She had been planning on finishing them all here, but Yumiko supposes she can check out the 3 on Red books as she leaves instead. Okay, that is the end of part 5. Yay! I did this one on the same day as part 4 because, yeah, I was already planning on recording half of it for part 4, so I just decided I'd just get 5 done too. But I hope you all have an excellent day. Please let me know in the comments what I can do to improve. Again, keep in mind that I can't really improve the quality quite yet, as I'm just using the audio recorder on my computer. So, bear with me, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.